Southwest 3013, so you want some vectors?
Yeah, if you don't mind, just for a little bit here, just see if let's figure it out.
Southwest 3013, roger. Cancel approach clearance, fly present heading and climb and maintain 5,100.
I maintain 5,100, 5,000.
Alright. Third time's a charm. This stream has definitely crashed twice already today. So we are most certainly going to give it a go. And curious why this door is closing by itself. Once again, it's your boy Dre Sanchez. We're headed to the Twin Cities today in this Toliss A340-600. We were originally taking this thing out of LAX, but my scenery there must be too strong along with the Toliss, along with the weather. So we're trying it out of San Francisco, and if it doesn't work this time, it is what it is. But we're not going to give up. Let's try to get on board and get everything situated. Let's get you guys checked out here. I don't anticipate too many people because I've been playing yo-yo with coming in the stream just because it's been crashing on me. So hopefully we have better luck, guys. Hopefully we have better luck. So I'm gonna go ahead and get this music shut down because the main thing is to get off of this field and get up higher, and I think we'll be okay as far as the sim crash is concerned. So we'll see how that works out. Let's go ahead and call for our clearance, which we had done all this previously, but
United 809, runway 1 right, taxi via Alpha Alpha 1.
1 right via Alpha Alpha 1, United 809.
Southwest 3013,
all right, we'll just wait to get our clearance.
For the visual approach, runway 30 left now, unless you still want the ILS.
Yeah, we can probably take visual from that today, 140,
Roger.
Approach Delta 318 here at San Francisco, looking for IFR to the Twin Cities.
Delta 318 heavy, NorCal departure, as you expect PDC in.
Okay, wait for PDC, Delta 318. Alright guys, so we're going to get a PDC right now, and there it is right there. Bada bing, bada boom, and let's go ahead and get it all situated. Let's see, transponder code is 4634, so let's jump down here, put that in here. 46 34 4634, and let me see if it tells me which runway we're going to expect here. Delta 22, climb via SID, expect arrival 3910. Plan runway 1 right, ATC may change that. Okay, cool. So we're going to climb via the SID, which let's take a look at that now. So airports, let's go ahead and type in our rusty dusty airport that we're in right now. And I just got the weather. The ATIS is actually working this time. So prior to me starting the stream, I did go ahead and get the weather. Our departure, guys, is the Trunkin 2 departure.
3013 to San Jose Airport, 9 o'clock and 3 miles here to Evanston.
So let's load that up. So our top altitude for this is right turn direct across, then on track to Trunkin. Okay, so flight level 190. I like the ones that actually give you where you don't have to do any vectors, believe it or not. So especially with a day like today, man, this has been going crazy. Okay, so for whatever reason, the door is closed up altogether. We got our 37,500 kilograms of fuel on board. Doors are closed, so let's tell the passengers to get where they need to go. And while we're doing everything here, let's go ahead and get our APU started.
Expect the ILS runway 30 left approach.
ILS 30 left, thank you.
Alright, APU is going to start up, and we can continue to prepare our avionics suite here. Let's make sure we put all of our stuff in, which we already did. So now we can go flight plan, bada bing, bada boom, departure. We're expecting 1 right, and we know it's the Trunkin 2 departure, and that transition, I believe, is going to be Tipray. So there should be another transition down here. Here it is right here.
Citation 2 Sierra Papa, connect bridge 127.4.
And Trunkin, boom, boom, boom.
27.4 to Sierra Papa, thank you.
Alright, we're going to insert that. So then after Tipray, we are most certainly going to go right into an airway. So let's get that airway on here. And man, I'm trying to hurry up and get out of here, guys, because I tell you what, this thing has been giving me a hard time today. Quebec 126 is the airway. So again, the frames at LAX, my scenery over there is always a bit heavy, but I think what's adding, the Toliss always is heavier on my frames, any of their aircraft. We're going to get out of this at Garot, G-A-R-O-T. I was really trying to have this a lot farther after the 2 crashes of my sim and computer, really. You know, it's time. This is an i7 10th generation. It's definitely time to get that i9 with that 3080 or something like that. So my brother was just literally asking me yesterday, because he's going to help me build it. Actually, let me just rephrase that. He is going to build it for me, is what the plan is. Mike Tango Uniform to Dorth, or DDRTH, okay, DDRTH. Let me pull this up also in my, yeah. Boom. That one's in there. And then Ufda, Torgy 3, so we can
and Archie joined Quiet Bridge visual
plan on that.
Right course,
and Minneapolis been basically landing south, so we'll just plan on that. And if we need to change it up in the air, we'll do so. So we'll plan on 12 right. We're going to go with Torgy.
Brickyard
It's the
303,
Torgy 3.
not cleared for the approach, just at Archie joined the lateral routing, the Quiet
And
Bridge
then
visual
we're going to do that transition Krug. And then, of course, Ufda is going to be
at Archie, follow the lateral course.
transition. And this Krug, we may end up changing that anyway, so let's go ahead and insert that. And then we can go ahead and clear out this situation here.
United 809, running 1 right, clear for takeoff.
Clear for takeoff, runway 1 right.
And we'll insert that. Now we need to go over to our perf, guys. And we know we're leaving flaps 2. Actually, on that runway, we might even be leaving flaps 3. The runway is shorter, so let's make sure that we can most certainly depart with enough runway and enough power. So, all right. So we're planning flaps 3, 4254. Oops. I guess I can put that in there first. So we're going up 4.7. 4.7. Flex temp never goes in there, so we'll try that in a minute. 142 is V1. 154 is our rotation speed. And 162 or 162 is actually our climb out. And again, we'll try to type in the flex temp, but it's not going to work. It'll say format error, so I don't know what format that would be. But we're pretty much done with this. Now we can come over here to ground services and get rid of the ground power. Just simply because we got the APU burning already, guys. So let's turn on that APU bleed, and let's get our beacon on.
5,600.
Let's come all the way down here and turn on our, we'll go TARA, and we'll go tilt above. And let me make sure all of our passenger signs are on. Everything up top is looking good. Plane is loaded. So guys, we can go ahead now and call for that better pushback and get ourselves more than out of here and on the way before anything else happens, man.
Radar contact, climb and maintain.
All right, tow is driving up. Let me go ahead and get the flight controls on for you guys now. All right, flight controls are free and clear.
After seeds,
and we'll continue to roll up out of here, guys. Now, while this is happening, let's go ahead and double check our actual flight plan. And you could basically see it's just a straight out. So let's come on over here. So we're going to be leaving that way direct to tie-dye.
Okay, all doors and hatches are closed. Ready to connect.
Alright, while they're connecting, let's run through it.
5,000.
It's looking good so far. A northeastern route. Konya, FX, Zesty, Krug, and on to the arrival, to the runway. So that looks good, guys. Some things are working out for once. Let's get this back into the arc and get that there. And let's also 19 in. Flight directors are both on. 3013 is set. 3013 is set. So there we go.
September 735, push on Alpha is approved, tail to the north.
Alright, let's just check those doors one more time. Doors are secure. Let's go ahead
Raid Foxtrot Tango, cross Clyde at or above 3,700, cleared ILS, runway 30 left approach.
Starting pushback, and
Cross
we may
Clyde
start
at or above
engine.
3,700, cleared ILS, runway 30 left approach for 68 left tail.
And this thing is always doing something funny in my better pushback, just FYI. So, looks like, hopefully, I don't want to speak too soon, but the frames aren't looking half bad. Let's go back, guys, and let's come here and go back on our AV tab so we can...
303, advisory of a bridge or the airport at the site.
Alright.
Alright, we'll advise, we got 303.
Okay, everything is looking good.
Connect Oakland Center 133.7.
133.7, Unit 8092.
So our taxi shouldn't be bad at all. So we're pushed back from Terminal 1. And it looks like we'll have a pretty seamless taxi. If we're taking one way, one right, he'll just do Alpha all the way around and perhaps grab the runway right here.
Maintain the 6,000.
6,000, and we have to...
So we'll see how that works out, guys. Let's go ahead and start the engines now, since we did get approval for that. Let's make sure our APU bleed is on.
Quiet bridge visual approach.
It is, so we can go ahead and get this on and popping, guys. And as we do so, let's go ahead and put this into engine mode. You can see the first engine that we're starting is actually number 4 on the right side, and you can see it's coming up nicely. So once this says ignition, it'll start spooling up even more.
Operation complete. Go ahead and set the parking brake.
Parking brake is set.
Disconnecting tow. Stand by.
Alright, there's that ignition, so everything is working in the auto start process. Now you're going to start seeing that N1
low altitude
spool
alert
up.
628 Foxtrot Tango. Check your altitude immediately. The MVA urea is 3,000, and on the procedure there.
And we are going flaps 2.
4,000, 3,600.
Let us also start engine number 3, which is the second engine we're starting.
Left connect 51, flight level 230, descending via service for arrival.
The cool thing about this, as we're getting the start process going, we can still make concessions to start taxiing. Alright. Flaps 2 selected, indicated. Number 3 is coming up, which is the second engine that we're starting. We already have our auto brakes to the rejected takeoff, and our spoilers here, ground spoilers, are on.
Left 3013 on the altimeter for Alaska 1951. Thank you.
Alright guys, so let's go ahead now and come down to the bottom and get our ATIS. Let's go ahead and start that third engine, which is number 2. You can hear the second engine, which is number 3, spooling up. Alright, 339. Let's go ahead and double check and see exactly what our PDC says with regards to, let's see, boom, boom, boom. I want any time for revision. Additional information, push and start at your discretion. Expect runway 1 right. Boom, boom, boom. Let's see. Departure is going to be with them. And Oakland Center's on, so I don't know which Oakland Center we're going to get. So we're just going to leave it on for them for right now, guys. And we can also get this engine coming up and running.
Alaska 1951
now
at
let's go ahead and see if Quebec is still
Live
current.
on initial contact. You have information, Quebec.
And say again for Alaska 1951. Alaska 1951 at Eddie. Join
San
tiptoe visual
Francisco
approach runway
International
28 left.
Airport native information, Quebec.
Eddie, join tiptoe and will be visual 28 left.
1280 and 10. Visibility 10.
NorCal approach Delta 318 is pushed back from gate 26 terminal 1. Information Quebec is ready to taxi.
Delta 318 heavy NorCal departure. Did I send you 1 right or 2 left?
On the PDC, you said it would be more than likely 1 right unless ATC changes, sir.
Delta 318 heavy roger. Runway 1 right. Taxi via Alpha Alpha 1.
Runway 1 right, Alpha Alpha 1, Delta 318 heavy. Thanks a lot. Alright, guys.
Air Mexico 99 NorCal.
So another thing that we need to get on, and I'm going to show you what it is. If you look here on the ECAM, it's saying PIRED or PRED weather system off. We need to get that on, as well as the APU can come off now since we got a good start on all 4. So bleeds can come off, APU can come off, guys, and then now we can come on down here and we'll just slide down slightly and we'll get this on to the auto. And we'll turn this on to that.
3, runway 28 right, clear.
Bada bing, bada boom.
Clear to line 28 right, break 3.
Now we can come up, and for our departure, we will get the terrain
taxi via Alpha Foxtrot 1 Bravo
on,
Mike 1. So you're going to join
especially
Bravo
to the right side,
left.
and we'll get the terrain on here as well.
Roger, and anyone left via Foxtrot 1.
And we'll leave the terrain off of this one. We'll keep that on the first officer side as well, and we need to come over here. Sorry, the seat kind of gets in the way.
Air Mexico 99
Get that
NorCal
camera on.
safe flight level, stopping altimeter 3012.
Alright guys, now I expect this to kind of move around a little bit once I release the parking brake, because it always does that with the better pushback. So parking brake is released.
Wait, when Yankee approves request, advise on your back.
Do my rudders, and I'm going to do the flight controls check without the parking brake on, and we'll see if that makes a difference. Rudder left is what we're doing first. There it is. Neutral, rudder right. And let's just make sure
Air Mexico 99,
that we're
contact
not
NorCal
moving.
approach
If we're not,
137.4.
okay, perfect. Alright. Elevator up. Neutral. Elevator down. Neutral. Aileron left. Neutral. Aileron right. Neutral. And now we can test that configuration.
South 2615 NorCal approach.
And everything is normal. APU is still available, but that doesn't make any sense because it's off, so we just know that we are good to go. I'm not even going to do an outside view. Let's get out of here until the outside views can safely be done.
Delta 318 heavy, are you ready to taxi?
Yes, sir, we were taxiing. We're just having some sim issues there. We are starting our taxi Alpha Alpha 1 to runway 1 right.
Better.
Alright, guys, so the sim issue would have been that the better pushback would have us out, but it looks like it worked out well with what I was doing. Alright, guys.
So 3013 NorCal departure, Sima. Ready
So,
Tango, join Victor 2
this outer one here is Alpha. And that guy's on it for even asking me if we're ready to go. Normally they're so busy they can't pay attention to ground moving aircraft, but that guy's on it. All we gotta do is get out of here. We started taxiing last time and that's when it crashed, so it's a little stuttery here, not as smooth as I would like, but hopefully that's not going to be indicative of a result of getting out of here without any problems. Alright, we should be on Alpha, which we are. So we're just going to go ahead and take this thing all the way around. And I think what's kind of helping us out this time, the weather was very densely fogged at Los Angeles International when we tried to get out of there from active sky. And I thought about turning it off, but to me it's just not even worth it. If I got to turn the weather off, it's like, nah,
735, running 1 left,
I'm not feeling it.
traffic landing 288.
Roger, line up and wait, runway 1 left, jet 735.
Okay, approach, this is November 172 Alpha India, class 1 day, radio check.
NorCal approach, you are loud and clear.
Roger, thank you. Number 172 Alpha India, requesting VFR rear for flight following.
You're on the ground at Halfmoon Bay, there's no air traffic control service down there, and you can pick up flight flying once you are airborne.
Roger.
JetBlue 735, RNAV stick, runway 1 left, clear for takeoff.
Clear for takeoff, runway 1 left, jet 735.
But here 303, cross runway 28 left at Delta, there'll be a left taxiway, then join Alpha at 0.
Crossway left at Delta, and then Alpha to the right, Brickyard 303.
Southwest 2615, contact approach 127.4, get in. February 1 Yankee Roger, contact approach 127.4.
Alright, I believe this is the hold short for 1 right, because there's the runway right there.
Alaska 1951, advisory of a bridge or the airport in sight.
We can go ahead and get that taxi cam off now.
I will advise when I have the airport in sight for Alaska 1951.
Roger, a bridge or the airport works. Throttle
Roger,
318
bridge or
heavy,
the airport,
RNAV tie-dye,
Alaska
runway 1 right, clear for takeoff.
Arnav tie-dyes, 1 right, clear for takeoff, Delta 318, thick slot. Alright guys, you heard the man. Strobes on, ready to go.
And
Dragon 325, NorCal approach, out Stockton, altimeter to 3012.
So everything is good to go. Let us get out of here, man. No further ado, we need to just roll up out of here and get this stream up and at 'em. You can see another aircraft over there just took off.
We're 628 Foxtrot Tango, NorCal approach, standby. Delta 784, NorCal approach, headed to Stockton, altimeter 3012.
Alright guys, clock is coming on.
Ready.
Straighten ourselves up just a little bit more.
NorCal approach,
Down.
Alaska 1951, we have bridge sight.
Alaska 1951, Edgar, cross Eddy at above 6,000, cleared tip-toe visual approach, runway 2 and left.
Takeoff power set.
And cross Eddy at 6,000, cleared, tip-toe approach, runway 28 left, Alaska 1951.
JetBlue 735, radar contact, say altitude.
Passing,
Airspeed is alive.
735.
JetBlue 735, roger, climb and maintain flight level 190.
Right rudder input.
735.
Cross 80 knots, cross check, crossing 100 now. V1. And we can rotate now. Positive rate here is coming up. Just flying the bird off the ground. Flying power.
NorCal approach, good evening. Virgin 20 Victor, we're fully ready to request taxi, please.
Virgin 20 Victor, heavy, NorCal departure, runway 28 left, taxi via Mike, hold short at runway 1 left.
Alright, via Mike and hold short 1 left, Virgin 20 Victor.
American 325, contact approach 127.4, let them know the speed that you're doing.
Alright guys, autopilot is engaged. We're going to start bringing those flaps back. Ignition's off.
Delta 318 Heavy radar contacts the altitude.
3,500 climbing via SID, Delta 318.
Delta 318 Heavy, Roger, climb maintain flight level 190.
Up to flight level 190, Delta 318. Alright guys, so we can just take this and go full out. Now it's going to climb with no restrictions, and then we'll go flaps clean right after we pass this.
Ready, fast shot, Tango, ready to semi.
Alright, flaps have been selected to 0. They're in transit right now. Aircraft is continuing to climb nice and smooth. We can go ahead and get those nose gear off. And let's see how it's moving on the frames. Not quite yet. I don't want to get a... Let's try something brave here. See how it's freezing up.
Tango, clearance.
Go ahead, 8 Fox 6.
There we go. So we have a takeoff. We've been brave enough to actually put it on a different view.
You are direct.
And
we
can now get the actual controls off, and we are up and at them, guys.
120.1, squad 4663.
You can see a message from X-Plane or from VATSIM. We'll reconnect here in a minute, and again, it's just those frames, guys. Alright, so we're reconnected.
Alright, 6-3 Foxtrot Tango, we're clear to Sacramento via the Tunnel 1 departure, direction to Ray Richards Tunnel.
And that's just a beautiful departure, so we just gotta watch this, guys.
Climb maintain 5,000, that's gonna be our final 120.1 on departure, 4663.
Very beautiful departure here out of the San Francisco area.
Correct, expect runway 30 left for departure.
Goes that stutter we don't like. Got nervous there for a second. Alright, man, let's get back up into the cockpit before something else goes wrong.
Virgin 20, Victor Heavy, you're actually on the taxi hotel there, cross runway 1 left, cross runway 1 right at hotel, then continue via Lima Foxtrot to runway 2 left.
Alright, there we go again, and it does this a lot coming into like clouds, and you can tell it's just frames. That's why I need to go ahead and get this i9 computer.
735, connect to center 133.7. What's that for? 735, affirmative, contact open.
So it must have corrected itself because it's going up. So now we can
heavy contact open center 133.7.
Over to Oakland Center 33.7. Thanks for ATC. We'll see you next time. Delta 318 Heavy.
Alaska 1951, runway 2 left.
Alright, so we're going to contact center here in a second. Let's get all of our lights off now that we crossed 10,000. And of course, we can come down here and get 33.7. Yeah, this Toliss is the high definition one. I guess I could be flying the standard def. I don't know what that one even looks like yet.
Level 190.
Section 216, Oakland Center, climb maintain level 410.
Up to 410 to 216.
Good evening, Oakland Center, Delta 318 Heavy with you, 12,200 climbing, flight level 190.
Delta 318, Oakland Center, climb maintain flight level 390.
Up to flight level 390, Delta 318. Alright guys, so we got 390 in the house.
735, Oakland Center, climb maintain flight level 370.
390 in the house. Let's get this on the status page.
18, contact NorCal approach 133.95.
And see how we are doing now that we finally made it out of that heavy framed area.
Thank you very much. Spirit 928, contact Oakland Center 127.95.
Alright guys, so we are definitely cooking with Crisco now. And out of the San Francisco area. We do have flight level 390 programmed in, guys, and you can see our top of climb. Looks like it's roughly about 100 miles or so. for us to be at our top of climb, let's go ahead and disarm those ground spoilers. Rejected takeoff has extinguished itself by itself. Gear is up and altimeters are set. Landing lights are off for now. Therefore, the after takeoff checklist is finally complete. It gets a little slow when you don't have a first officer. Here pretty soon we'll be able to do an outside view once we get high up enough and far enough away from any of the heavy scenery that I have here that my computer is definitely not liking, with the heavy frames of the Toliss plus the weather and any scenery that requires more than a little bit on the frames. We're just waiting for another 400 feet and we will go ahead and put this into the standard altimeter. Let me slide up front because I hate the fact that when I look right or left, the seat gets into my view. That's fine, just like that.
Emirates 225, Oakland
Alright,
Center.
we have passed the flight level 180.
That's here. Squawk 3262.
Let me come on over to the first officer side. Into the standard mode, guys, we go. So, we have a pretty decent departure out of the San Francisco area. Let's work on a couple views now. Got a nice little wing view here. You can also come over to this view. I'm also doing this to check the integrity of the frames right now, which are pretty good. So let me go back now and check on you guys. Everything is good here. So we're just going to continue this departure as is and enjoy this pretty nice view.
Contact Oakland Center 127.95.
And when the frames are good here and everything's working right, it is so beautiful. So, you know, it's just one of those sim pilot issues when you gotta kind of have your stream nice and you're trying to fly the aircraft correctly and do all the procedures, and then when the frames are hurting, it really kind of dummies down the experience. But man, I just got to leave it on this view really quick right now as we're departing the San Francisco area and Southern California, headed on over into the Nevada area. See if we can get a nice trusty flyby here. Get another one of those, man. Still a little stuttery for my taste, but that's okay. Let's just stay here for now before we out-stutter ourselves and find ourselves into another sim crash. Alright, so far so good. And I could see all the way around. My computer is somewhat struggling to keep up with the challenge of the frames here. Give you guys a little bit better view now. See if we can kind of look this way. Get some of that beautiful footage out of the left window there, and then of course we can go ahead and get some music on now.
Oakland Center sec. Emirates 225 is radar contact 30 miles west of Fort Jones VOR.
Again, guys,
contact local approach 133.95.
welcome aboard to Delta Airlines Flight 318 with full service from San Francisco International all the way to Minneapolis, St. Paul in the Twin Cities. My wife and I used to live there. My wife is Mexican, born from Mexico, but pretty much grew up in Minnesota.
Center Charlie Alpha 11 signal T45.
So that's kind of like, you know, her home state, or her state where she grew up in her adolescence. And so yeah, I thought it fitting to fly up there to St. Paul. I used to live there, obviously, with my wife as well. And
Virtual 125.
so we'll see what's going on there today.
Right approved as requested, and descent at pilot's discretion, maintain flight level 240. Virtual 125, advise when you're able, direct to Bigelow.
Doing good, guys, here on this Saturday. This stream was very troubled. Like I said, I tried to do this stream a few different times, twice to be exact, out of LA.
Charlie Alpha 11,
and it was too much.
Forward cleared, advise ready to copy.
But I felt like, man, I really want to fly this bird. So we're making it happen.
Is cleared to...
We are making it happen, guys.
Travis Airport via...
Hope your Saturday is going well. I know a lot of you will be checking this stream out post-stream, so thank you for joining stream and post. And for whoever's here now, thanks for joining. Please subscribe if you haven't. Smash that like button and share it out if you can. Help me grow the channel. So once we get to our top of climb, we'll go ahead and take a look and see what exactly our estimated fuel is on arrival. Because sometimes in these bigger birds, hey Zachy D, hey, what's going on, man? Thanks for checking in, Zachy D. Once again, happy Saturday to you.
Philippine 321, Oakland Center, Squawk.
Sometimes when,
3303.
you know, folks in their streams are looking at their landing rates and they have the bigger birds, of course, or any of the aircraft really, they must not forget to keep in mind that if their landing weight is heavier than normal, even if you do everything right on the yoke and the speeds and the winds aren't bad, you can still land heavier and have a little bit of a worse landing rate than you're expecting because your aircraft is heavy for its landing. So so there's that. I don't anticipate an issue with this. It's pretty much, I only put 2,000 of extra kilograms of fuel on board. So we'll see what we're looking at. I anticipate being around maybe 11,400 kilograms. But we'll see how that works out. All right. Switch up these tunes. So right now for ATC, we'll look and see what we have.
16 contact Oakland Center 132.8. 132.8 for System 216.
So we'll get into Salt Lake Center's airspace and have none. Unless they come on. And then maybe we'll go into Denver Center's airspace, which they're on right now, but there's no telling once we get over there. And Minneapolis Center is offline right now, so...
It's 134.55. It's the frequency that I'm monitoring. I just need it, or need you on it for better radio coverage.
So there we go.
134.5.
Continuing our climb.
It's
again, final cruising altitude is 39,000 feet, folks.
134.55 meters.
We did double check our flight plan in the plan mode, and the flight plan looked pretty seamless and well connected. We are planning a arrival into the Minneapolis St. Paul area onto runway 12 right, which will be a southern landing, obviously southeast if you will. So that, well, it should have, the way we come in, it should have a couple of lakes that I'll point out, and the downtown Minneapolis off to the left, and you won't get the St. Paul downtown because that's further west or east than we're landing, but we'll see if we can get it from the air, depending on there's no clouds. Let's check the weather there now, as a matter of fact.
Sorry, just looking to deviate. Emirates 225 approved.
Okay, so weather in Minneapolis, winds are out of the south at 140 degrees, 3 knots 299.5 on the altimeter, and it is 12 degrees Celsius or 50 degrees Fahrenheit, which isn't
Charlie
too bad
Alpha 1-1,
for.
you're ready for taxi.
It's actually pretty warm for Minnesota during this time of year, so I know they're
Charlie
ecstatic.
Alpha 1-1, runway
That
32
means
right,
they probably
taxi
haven't
via
had any
Alpha.
snowfall yet, which is awesome.
32 right via Alpha, Charlie Alpha 1-1.
Let's go over to the first officer side and get that terrain radar off now that we're pretty high. We don't need to worry about it. Check that little canyon out right here. It's like a little valley here. Interesting. Almost at that cruising altitude too, guys, so that's very good for us. So basically out here,
Contact Oakland Center 132.05.
Oakland Center 132.05. We'll see you at Delta 318. All right, guys. Let's see what our cruising is. Good evening, Oakland Center, Delta 318 Heavy checking in with you. Flight level 376, climbing flight level 390.
Delta 318 Oakland Center.
Alright guys, and we're all checked in, which is a good thing. Alright guys, everything is looking good here. Excuse me. I was gonna say, the thing about these Airbuses, hang on, let me put you on the static view. I'm trying to reach and get my water here. The thing about these Airbuses, guys, is once you, man, I mean, even the up top panel is usually all auto. And that's the one good thing about Airbuses, man. If you program them right, you're basically just managing the systems, as my boy Greenlight has basically used that explanation of flying and what it is like flying an Airbus, obviously, which I can definitely agree to that. Because once you program it in and you get up and going, man, there's really not a whole lot that you got to really take care of. Mohammed Bima, to the Sono, the plane crashed. What would you say is your favorite commercial airliner? Zachy D is saying. I would say my favorite commercial airliner, Zachy D, would be, if I had to pick one, man, it's between the 747 and the A350 as far as large wide-body airliners. One thing you'll find about me is that I like flying everything. Turboprops, regional airliners, wide bodies, general aviation aircraft, private jets. If it has to do with flying and the add-on or the mod is a well immersed or a high immersion, mod, I'll fly it, because it gives you a challenge. When you fly a different aircraft, it makes you broaden your horizons and think differently. So let's say like you fly one of the freewares, which a lot of people fly, which is the Zibo 737, whether it's the 700, 800, or 900. You get used to that aircraft and how it handles. And I like the Zibo, well, I like the Boeing 737 whether it's PMDG and other sims or the Zeeble and the X-Plane, because that airplane to me is definitely way more hands-on than, let's say, like flying an Airbus where everything is kind of auto for you. Muhammad Bima, I don't know how to pronounce your last name, so I'm going to say Muhammad Bima T, says he is Indonesian. Well, Muhammad, welcome to the stream. Thanks for hanging out with us. You as well, Zachy D, and anyone else that's going to join the stream. I really appreciate you guys. We had a couple of issues with the stream a little while ago. We tried it twice out of LA as our origin, and it didn't like it. It was just, my scenery there is just too heavy on the frames. So we definitely have changed that by leaving out of San Francisco, and even though it was very stuttery, it looks like we're doing okay now, guys. So I'm just gonna take a look at the stream on my phone to make sure it looks good. All right, perfect. Another reason I was checking that as well is because I originally had the stream set up with the thumbnail and everything. Well, that stream crashed. I restarted it, did the stream again. My YouTube information left, and it was showing my information for the stream prior to that. So a lot of things I'm checking out here, man. All right, let's see what we got here. We are at our cruising altitude. So what we want to do now is go ahead and check our fuel stores and kind of get the health report on the FMS. So let's come over here to perf. Now you can see our top of descent is 1,054 nautical miles. The sim, of course, is a little bit different because of the times. I didn't do it actual time, so our UTC is a little different. But if we're trying to calculate how long is that till our top of descent, it's saying we're going to be top of descent 2146. Right now, it is currently 1958. So 2146 is basically an hour and 48 minutes from now is when we'll start our top of descent. And you can see here, we've been airborne for 24 minutes and 16 seconds here. So that'll give you an idea of how far our top of descent is. We got quite a ways to go. Toliss performance for the win. Amazing performance in this complex aircraft. Absolutely, Brian Harris, and welcome to the stream. And thanks for joining us again. I've definitely seen you part of streams before, so happy Saturday to you, Brian, and everybody in the stream. Yes, so this is a highly detailed aircraft. It's not easy on the frames at all. Let's see what we're getting right now. Look at that. Right now, normally on other aircraft, I get at least 50, between 40 to 60 frames. Look at this. We're only getting 24 right now. So it is definitely frame hungry. But I think we can go out and take another flyby. Muhammad BT, or Muhammad Bima T, I cannot pronounce the last name, says that they cannot speak English. Well, that's okay here. With Google Translate, you should be fine, and hopefully I fly well enough where we don't even need to communicate verbally. You can just see what's going on and handle it that way. But we sure appreciate you watching. Yo, Captain Geo, what's good, my man? Nice stream earlier, Geo. You and Shaq were streaming earlier, so it was good to jump in your stream and see what was popping. So guys, we got Captain Geo here checking in. He's a content creator as well, so go give him a sub and a like. The guy's got some skills behind the yoke, man. He can fly. There we go. Speaking of that, let's see if we can get a flyby going ourselves. All right, guys. Definitely wouldn't have done that earlier. Captain Geo says, ha ha ha. Hey, Geo, remember how we were talking about sim issues and you couldn't get your cameras on? Well, guess what? My sim crashed twice today as I was streaming, bro. So, sim problems continue, man. You are most welcome, Geo, for sure, man. You know how we get down, man. Supporting each other is what we do, man. And at the end of the day, we know the struggles being content creators, man. So, the struggle is real.
Fresno altimeter. 30.
So we're cruising right along here, guys.
My frequency 132.8.
Now let's go and check out a couple of other views, since we look to be doing well now. And man, I absolutely love this view, seeing those beast engines right there. You can even see a little bit of the gases right here, this little trail right here coming off. Geo says, yeah man, you ain't lying, man. I know for sure, Geo. That's why when I'm watching another content creator and they're having issues, I feel for them in that moment, because I know how much work goes into actually getting the stream up, the prep, not to mention the pre-flight stuff, not to mention the sim interface stuff, like all of the different third-party apps that we have to run, Active Sky, X-Plane, or X-Pilot, you know, our nav charts, whatever it is, man. It's a lot. So I tell everybody, man, it's not all fun and games when it comes to streaming. We're gonna walk to this aircraft here in a second. You can actually go downstairs, which I haven't been yet, into the cargo hold, and we'll set up another view for that. Let me see something here.
Delta 318, Salt Lake Center's offline frequency is approved.
Okay, we'll be switching over to Unicom. I want to say thanks a lot for the ATC. Have a great rest of your Saturday. We'll see you next time, Delta 318. Alright guys, so we are officially going to be on our own for a little bit. Alright, so now we have switched over to Unicom, and we are definitely on the Unicom frequency. So what I like to do is, once I get on Unicom, if there's any other aircraft in the area, I just make a little announcement, even though it's not next to a field or anything. So we'll just let them know we are direct Int'l on course. Surrounding traffic, Delta 318 is now switched over to Unicom and Salt Lake Center's airspace. We are 15 nautical miles basically west of Int'l on course for surrounding traffic. Geo says he's plane spotting now on his live channel, guys. So hey, Aviator JT, hey, thanks for checking in, my man. Everybody go to Captain Geo. He's doing some plane spotting now on his live channel, taking a look at some birds in the sky. So you guys check Geo out on that. And I'm going to go into Geo stream really quick here. Alright, just checking in the Geo stream. I'm just telling him I'm here. Let me go ahead and mute his down a little bit. And he's definitely doing some plane spotting. I don't want to bring it into the screen because I'm trying to keep my frames as easy as possible right now. And he's at Salt Lake. He's in Salt Lake City, so he's in Salt Lake right now, which is funny. We're in Salt Lake Center right now as airspace. Maul Gaming is back on the scene. He says, "Hi guys, Maul Gaming was in there earlier prior to one of our crashes, but we got it back up and going." Zumba YT, hello. He says he is Maul's friend and he's going to sub. Thank you very much, Zumba YT. He liked and subbed. I really appreciate you. Thanks, Maul Gaming 101, for bringing a friend. And again, guys, Captain Geo is in the stream as well, but he's also doing some live plane spotting in Salt Lake City right now, and he did a stream earlier. So go and check him out as well, guys. He's a great content creator, not to mention a great sim pilot, man, who I had the pleasure of meeting at the Flight Sim Expo in 2021 in San Diego. So good peeps. And Zumbo YT says, yes, we be right back. So they're going over to Geo's stream. Thank you guys for doing that. And yeah, I got one of my little co-pilots in here. He's just hanging out, one of my sons. Alright guys, so let us have a little fun now that we're up and cruising. again, if we're paying attention to when we're going to start our top of descent, and it says we're about to do a flight, so I'll be right back is what he's saying. Okay, Zumba YT, where are you guys going to do your flight to? Let me know. Maybe we'll check them out on the VATSIM scope if you guys are flying VATSIM. So we have our top of descent at 977 nautical miles. Remember I said I was expecting about 11,400 kilograms. I was a little off. So our estimated fuel on board at the time that we arrived in Minneapolis, St. Paul is 14,500 kilograms of fuel. And we are going to be doing our top of descent at UTC or Zulu time 2146. That's not actual because the sim time has changed over. So let's see what that means for us. So 2146. Current time in the sim is 20:06. So literally in an hour and 40 minutes we'll be top of descent. So there you go. Zumba YT says they're flying from St. Louis to KMYR. I don't know what KMYR is, but I could look it up. So guys, they're flying out of St. Louis, headed to Kilo Mike Yankee Romeo. Now guys, let's have some fun and explore the aircraft. So what I'm gonna do now is come up with another scene here. We're gonna open up our X camera. We're gonna add a camera, and it'll be 14. So now we're gonna walk around the aircraft. It's Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, is what Zumba YT just said. Excuse me. Look at that. You can see it's pretty dope. You can see on the screen the outside. All right, and here's where we're gonna go downstairs, guys. Look at this, guys. We can actually walk downstairs. Zumba YT says, be right back. We're on startup. That's cool. So this is pretty cool, guys. I guess they have restrooms down here. I've never actually been on the Airbus A340, but this is pretty cool that they got this in the sim. And we'll reconnect to VATSIM. It's just the frames are low because we're messing around. Look at this, guys. Let's get up to a human height here. Kind of low, short. So we're on the aircraft, guys, in a lower section. See that? We came basically from up the stairs and we are actually in the restroom area. So that's pretty slick, man, that they have that like that on this aircraft, which is pretty good. Let me go and make sure my other... Okay, there we go. So we just added a camera in there. All right, cool. Now let's go back up front so we can get those frames back under control, guys. Get back on the network. Alright, so we're back on the network. Those frames are good. And we're cruising right along, guys. Feel like we're getting there we go. Alright, Zachy D and Zumba YT are doing a flight, guys, from St. Louis to Myrtle Beach. Hey, what are you guys flying? What kind of aircraft are you guys flying? And are you guys flying on VATSIM? Maybe I'll shout you guys out and give a little look. You can see the plane is oscillating a little bit up and down. I'm getting a tailwind, so it's probably trying to keep its pitch down. We We got a tailwind right out of the west, basically, hitting our rear of our aircraft at 98 knots, but it's giving us a nice little ground speed of 568 knots over the ground. Of course, true airspeed is 472, which is good. I always plan for 450, so we're doing about 22 knots over the true airspeed. And of course, here's indicated, guys. All right, man, so the plane is doing well. And let's kind of take a peek really quick while I'm thinking about it and talk about our arrival so we can get rid of all these charts. We don't need them anymore. Let's get our main charts that we need from Minneapolis, St. Paul. Okay, no weather information is available. That's cool. First and foremost, let's get our airport chart up. Then on top of that, we can get our arrival chart up. We are arriving on the Torgy 3 RNAV. So here's the Torgy 3, and we're transitioning UFDA. We were going to transition Swan when we were leaving out of LAX, but because that's more of a southern, obviously, that's about 8 hours from San Francisco Airport south. So now you can see we're transitioning UFDA, then the rest of the arrival is the same. And then the last chart we need, guys, is our approach chart, provided that we stick with approach or with the same approach, depending on the winds. But we will definitely be doing a 12 right. Let's see, we can just do ILS or localize the runway 12 right. Cat 2 or Cat 3 refers to the weather, so it'll probably be just a normal Cat 1 landing. Even though this aircraft does do Cat 3 auto lands. Alright, so our decision height here is 1042 for the ILS, guys. 1042. So we'll be putting that in, and here's the localizer information and the final approach course. But of course, another great thing about the Airbuses are you don't have to program in the final approach course or the frequency. You just got to double check it. I mean, then you got to put in the decision height. But other than that, man, that's what's up. Touchdown zone is 842 feet. So it's below 1,000, and we're going to be transitioning onto this with the initial approach fix of Krug. We're going to take Krug to FX, and then we'll join the localizer here officially here at Kins after merging on the Zesty by heading a 121 to Kins. Joining that localizer right here, bringing it all the way down to runway 12 right. Our parking gate today is Foxtrot 12 in the Minneapolis St. Paul area. So not a whole lot to belabor on that, and yeah, we won't even put any information in as far as the destination because we're too far out, because that may change, guys. So once again, man, we are just enjoying ourselves here, cruising right along in this first stream on the Dre Sanchez YouTube channel of this Airbus A340-600. It's a Delta livery. And right now, we should still be over the desert. I'll give you guys a little geography here of where we're at. So currently, guys, we are in Nevada. And we are pretty much, we've got Ely pretty much out here. It's going to be basically between our 10 and 11 o'clock, or actually, yeah, between 10 and 12, really. Probably right behind this crossbeam out there. So you got Ely that we're going to be passing here. Let's see if we can see anything of that town. And we can't. We're just too high up, too far. But we got Ely, so we're still in Nevada. And then, of course, we're going to continue our way into Utah. And we'll be passing just southeast of Provo and Salt Lake City, continuing our northeastern route to Minneapolis, St. Paul. So there we go, guys. Total flying time for this flight today is 2 hours and 57 minutes, which we've already accomplished a lot of that here. You look down here, we've been in the air for 42 minutes already, guys. Here's our time right here, 42 minutes and 7 seconds. So chop that out, and we only have, you know, a little over 2 hours and maybe 5 to 10 minutes. Of course, we have top of descent roughly in about, let's see, 116, 20, 36. So we got about a, you know, another solid hour for sure before we get to top of descent, guys, here. Actually an hour and 20 minutes, because top of descent was basically 21:43 or something like that. Yeah, guys, and I guess we can get our tray table pulled out to be official. That's what they do when they're in cruise. They pull out the old rusty, dusty tray table. So we have ours pulled out as well, guys, and like I said, we're in a cruise phase right now. All right. Sounds like a happy song. We'll bear with it here for a second. Let's get some water on board. Not bad. All right, you can see the aircraft kind of bouncing up and down a little bit. Got some cool and hot air there. Also, another simmer content creator that's on right now, guys, is HD Simulation. That's his handle. If you look for it, it's just capital H, capital D, lowercase everything else, simulation, all pushed together. He's streaming right now. Let's jump in his stream and tell him hello. You can kind of hear him talking in the background there. Let's go ahead and give him a like. So, and it looks like he's part of the VATSIM event, Salt Lake City Live is what it is. All right, so cruising right along, just
yo, Dre.
There he goes, responding.
See you, man. How long have you been doing flights? For me, I started streaming, I believe 2019. I started streaming 2019. Summer of 2019. Prior to that, I was do videos. So, you know, and then.
All right, so I'm just typing some stuff there to HD. Letting them know I hope he has a great stream there.
You know, and as far as aviation, I've been in aviation stuff for since I can remember.
And yeah, guys, check him out. He's trying to grow his channel. He currently has 718 subscribers, looking for that 750. So go check him out, guys. All right, let me pause his stream. That way it doesn't get too confusing for us. Just wanted to stop in and share some love. So Muhammad Bima says TOD, which that's an acronym for top of descent. So if you're asking what time top of descent is, I'll tell you guys that again right now. It's definitely not a problem. So top of descent, 833 nautical miles, UTC 2147. So if we take that from here, 2147, that's about an hour and 26 minutes or so. So we got about an hour and 26 minutes to go until our top of descent, guys. And yeah, so you guys know how it goes in this cruise phase. We already have our arrival. We've already looked at it. We said once again that we're going to be coming in transition UFTA, Torgy at 280 and above 13,000. Well, actually, Eric's at 280 and flight level 240. That's kind of what we need to check on first. So Eric's 281, flight level 240, Torgy. Same thing, 280 at 13,350. Let's see if that makes sense for us. And it does. Offset above 11,000, which we will definitely be above. There's only 6 nautical miles between the two, so we'll definitely be above 11,000 if we're meeting the requirements for here. All right, guys. Then on the way into our arrival, we're going to take, because we're doing runway 12 left and 12 right, you can see we're going to follow Konya to Spunky, 230 at 7,000 feet. Konya Spooky, I said Spunky, it's Spooky, 230 at 7,000 feet, so that looks good. And then after that we go into our initial approach fix of Krug, which that won't be on the approach chart. And Mohammed Bima says drop the plane, but I know there's a language barrier there, so perhaps Google Translate isn't translating that hot. So here's Krug at 7,000, max 210. Krug 7,000, and we're going to be close enough to 210, so that's okay. And you can see here the rest. Zesty 151 at 4,000, which this will be managed a little differently. This is going to depend on our approach speed. Kins should be definitely the last waypoint as we're on final approach into Minneapolis St. Paul on 12 right. So there you guys go. That's what we're looking at. And if we're being honest and checking on the weather, now the winds are calm there. Static or visibility is greater than 10 miles. Altimeter is 299 Temperature is dropping a little bit, obviously, because it's getting darker. And soon enough, if they stay on, we will be passing through Denver Center. More of the northern tip, because now we're doing basically a more of a northeastern turn right now. This is what we got going on here, guys. Like that, it was 2 ons. On here. It's like an old country guy. What we got going on here is, you know, you got to do the face. Here is. So So here's Delta 318, which is us. You can see here's the VATSIM event, so we will most certainly be getting right into Denver Center airspace, but then we cross right through it and there's nothing here. Which the funny thing is, I remember Minneapolis Center was on all the time VATSIM before, so the controllers that probably, you know, controlled that airspace, I think his name was AJ Doubleday and a few other guys, not quite sure if they're doing it as much, but definitely miss them being on VATSIM as frequent as they were. The odds of you getting them was quite great, if anybody can remember that back in the day. Let's see, F7 Beamer says, so yeah, I think that's just more of the language barrier there. So yeah, guys, so we're cruising again. For anybody just joining the stream, if you want to take a break, we got top of descent at 2147, which for us that means that's roughly in an hour and 20 minutes, almost to the minute. 2147, 2027, so add the 20 would be 46. So yeah, about an hour and 20 minutes, guys, which if you come back roughly 1 hour from now and check in, we should probably be going over some descent preparations and everything again. So with that being said, let me give you guys a little view here, and I'm going to step out of the cockpit shortly and turn the music up and take myself a little break. Let's get you guys another song going on here. Alright guys, as promised, I'll be right back. It's time to make some coffee. Got about an hour and 20 minutes of top of descent from time now. So take a break. I'll be back in the cockpit. Before then, I'm just going to go refresh some coffee, have a quick restroom break, check out the rest of the fam really quick, and I'll be back here in the seat hanging out with you fine folks. So I'll be right back, guys. Alright guys, I'm back with you. I got my trusty coffee right here and visited everybody in the household, so now it's time to get back and see what was crack-a-lacking. You can see it's not the smoothest air that there is to be. The plane is rocking a little bit, but that's to be expected. Let's see how we're doing.
Salt Lake traffic,
Okay, we're still not in Delta or Denver Center's airspace just yet, but we will be soon, guys. That is a tasty cup of joe. All right, we got DD Wrath and about 180 to 200 nautical miles, which is right here at 192. All right, get those tunes down a little bit so they're not overwhelming. And again, guys, if you're watching this stream now, please smash that like button. If you haven't subbed, please give me a subscription, or become a subscriber, I should say. Share the channel out. I appreciate you, for real. If you're watching this in post, again, thanks for the support, and I'm glad that you're able to catch it in post stream. Same goes to you. If you could, please smash that like button, subscribe, and share out the channel, and appreciate all the support. We'll be doing some different stuff on the channel here, using Nightbot, doing some giveaways here over the next few streams. I got to get better with that, just simply because that's adding additional things you have to do during your live stream, not to mention the setup, you know, all the sim settings, and the list goes on and on. So yeah, so I'm planning to do, you know, keep doing some great things with the stream, using our Nightbot, doing some giveaways, and doing more group flights as well. I really enjoy doing the group flights on here. As you see, there's more than one flight on here that I'm doing a group flight, so that makes it more enjoyable, of course. Again, hope everybody's having a great Saturday. Saturday evening for most, Sunday morning for some, depending on where you are in the world. So cheers to you, wherever you may be in, whatever time zone you're in. And yeah, look at that. You can see the plane dancing around just a little bit there. Still getting those tailwinds, which are that jet stream helping us to have a ground speed of 552 knots, so that's a good thing. Oh my goodness. I was just noticing my DME here. Whatever DME is set up, it must be the same one. Let's go check it out. Let me show you how you guys can get that figured out. Go to your radio and navigation page, and see, that's why I knew the MTU DME is in there for whatever reason, so that's what it's reporting. The cool thing about that is, guys, let's go to your flight plan, and let's say this is a fix, but let's say you wanted to see where you're going to be at with a certain VOR, which there's no more. These are all fixes in there, so. But you could literally program it in and use that also for several things, like your, you know, if you're always trying to have an alternate field in mind in case of an emergency happens, that would make sense to do that. Let's give you guys a little geography update. Okay, so Salt Lake City, it's back this way. We already passed that. Continuing on our northeastern route to Minneapolis, St. Paul. Look at those beautiful mountains down there. My goal is, once I get my new computer, to really make it robust. I'm going to have between 10 and 15 terabytes, have a very large SSD drive, and I'm going to do ortho overlay for my entire sim, which will probably be, you know, 5 days of downloading ortho. But I'm going to do it because it'll actually make the sim run smoother. Ironically, I haven't done it on this system simply because I've only got 2 terabytes and I use this computer for other stuff, so it's not conducive for me to have that much memory on there. I gotta have quite a bit of memory available on this thing. So, never thought I'd see the day that my computer would actually be struggling with certain stuff, but it is, and that's just because I'm with the scenery, the weather, the simulations becoming more and more complex, and the ability to do certain things, of course, they become more complex, which requires more of your GPU and your CPU, which work in science to give you a smooth experience when you're doing anything, especially gaming. Alright, it's like the song is coming in super quiet. Coffee's good. Alright guys, we literally have about an hour, about 59 minutes until top of descent. The clock down there says 20:47 and 21:48. So yeah, an hour and 1 minute or less than. See, it's 21:48. So we literally have an hour till our top of descent. And we'll continue to make sure those winds are the same in Minneapolis. Right now, we're just going to be waiting to basically enter Denver Center's airspace, 2765. Yeah, Denver Center, 2765. And I'm not even going to respond to the person because they may be going offline. So, well, I should say I'm not going to respond to them unless they contact me, because that event's been going on. So there's a possibility that because I'm actually in their airspace now and they have not made any contact. So we'll give it a few more, and then if they decide to have me contact them, then I'll do it. Again, me knowing how it works, sometimes they've been on there for a long time. You go contact them and say, hey, stay on Unicom because I'm getting off, or whatever the case may be. I really wanted to be proactive. I would reach out and contact them, which I can do, but I know they got more than a little bit they're doing. So, you know what? Let's just do it. Let's get on their frequency first. And it's all quiet, which is peculiar. Evening Denver Center, Delta 318 Heavy has entered your airspace from the west, checking in at flight level 390.
Delta 318 Denver Center, squawk 6540.
6540 in the box, Delta 318. Alright, so we need to squawk 6540. And he'll probably give me radar contact here in a minute. We'll see how that works out. So we did the right thing. We monitor where we're at. We made the call out. For half a second I thought he was going to say, hey, you know what? Delta Center is closing, but he didn't say that. He gave me a new squawk code, so kind of glad that we went ahead and switched our squawk code. He didn't have us ident, so we won't do that. We'll just keep riding along here. Let's make sure that squawk code didn't change on us, that the actual transponder kept it, and it is 6540. There you go. Onward we go, my peeps. So I hope we have a decent landing into the Minneapolis-St. Paul International Airport. Let me show you exactly what we're going to do. So if the winds stay the same, we're going to come in runway 12 right, and essentially we need to get off the runway and just back taxi on Alpha or Bravo. Typically it should be Bravo because we need to get off the field and get over to Bravo. More than likely, and Bravo and Alpha, it's very strange, they're very close, so I'm not quite sure how they really do that, because he's Bravo and it dips down and comes Bravo right here next to Alpha, so that's almost strange how it gets so close. I'm thinking about wingtips and all that stuff. So if we want to look at something here, which is going to be where we're parking at F12, so our parking gates is going to be on the same side too. So here's F12 right here, which will be the gate we pull in, you know, with the airplane basically perpendicular to the building. So that's what we're going to do as far as our arrival is concerned. And the runway in Minneapolis is 10,000 feet, so we'll probably land with our auto brake set to 3, not max. Get her slowed down, And preferably, the touchdown blocks, preferably if we made Alpha 7, that'd be great, or Alpha 5, that would be great. But if I float it, Alpha 3, Alpha 2, Alpha 1 is definitely a possibility. Back taxi on Bravo. And get to this gate. Our gate is right here. It's exactly where it's at. So that's what we're doing, folks, today. If everything works out well, that's going to be the plan. That is going to be the plan. All right, guys. So definitely,
Osprey 617, cottage approach 120.35, good day.
For my
120.35 for Osprey 617, thanks for the ATC.
for my long haul, you know, I've always gotten into, what am I going to do sitting in the aircraft that long? So I'll definitely have to plan some activities for us to go over in my longer hauls, because there is a lot of time to fill, other than me just being out of the cockpit, which can be a norm too, because let's face it, you know, there's really not a whole lot to do. Now, if the flight is only like 50 minutes, there's a lot to do. The flight's an hour under, there's a lot to do, because by the time you get up in the air and get to your final cruise, switch over ATC a few times, do your, you know, double check your arrival, approach, double check the wind, start your descent and get there, there's a lot to do. On these longer flights though, everything, the success of the flight, most of it happens in your pre-flight. What you're doing, you're planning, you plan for contingencies, you make sure you're doing this and doing that, so that when you get in the aircraft and get going, you can stay ahead of the aircraft. So in most of these big boys, well, all of them, the GA aircraft, you can get away with kind of programming a few things and doing it in the air, but not these bigger ones. You know, you got to pretty much know what you're doing, plan, and get it put into the computer, plan for your contingencies, and stick to plan as much as possible. You want to do that with general aviation as well too, but the systems are a little more forgiving if you're having to do some planning in the air as well. And if you know what you're doing with these, they're okay as well. But there are some that you start messing with that FMC when you're changing your approach or your arrival, and it just does havoc on the system.
318 Denver closing here shortly. For change Unicom's approved at the safe flight into Minneapolis.
Appreciate you. We'll be switching over to Unicom. Thanks for the ATC. Hope you have a great evening. We'll see you next time, Delta 318. All right, guys. So we were on just for a hot second, and he's closing now. So back on Unicom we go. And again, I kind of figured that just because that event was going on for quite a while, and those controllers need to get off and take a break because their op tempo was very, very high. Very, very high. So, back to Unicom we go, guys. All right. Definitely cruising here, guys. All right, 2056. Might have to step out of the cockpit again here. 2149. Oops. 2149, 2156. So literally it's almost about 52 minutes and some seconds until we start our top of descent, guys. On the hour, that'll roughly equate to about 40 on the hour. Right now, it's wherever you're at in the world, it's 56. It's 8:56 p.m. here on the West Coast. So if you add 50 minutes of that, roughly, that's going to get you, you know, right at 40. I would say 35 on the hour. Make sure you check back in so we can start that top of descent appropriately. And our bottom altitude that we're going to be going for anyway is going to be should be about 7,000 if memory serves here. So This is the initial approach fix, so spooky at 7,000. Then so we'll leave it at 7,000. That's the arrival, just in case we have ATC and there's some different things to do. Other than that, folks, you guys see it right here, 2149. And yeah, literally we've got 49 minutes now until we touch down, to be honest with you. So we're doing good. All right, so let's jump out and see what other views that we can keep with while I'm out of the cockpit. We'll choose this side this time, and we'll get the music turned up, and not a whole lot of activity going on in the chat, so there's no need for me to just hang out and talk to space. So we'll get the music turned up, and I'll be back with you guys shortly. I'll be in the chat checking in here and there. See you guys in a minute. Till then, fly safe and or sleep on the plane. That's authorized too. Again, everybody, thanks for joining me on this stream. Right now, we're just out of the cockpit until a few minutes before our top of descent. I will be checking in with you guys. We should be sitting here now roughly 40 minutes, 35 to 40 minutes. Right now, you're out of the right window seat. Look at those engines roar along as we're at flight level 390 en route to Minneapolis, St. Paul International Airport with no ATC on now, even though we are on VATSIM. So we're in Denver Center's airspace, but they have since then logged off due to the event. So right now, we're just cruising right along. So we'll be checking you guys out here shortly. Once again, guys, thanks for riding along with us. We are on our way to Minneapolis, St. Paul here at our cruising altitude of flight level 390. We should be starting our top of descent again, guys, in roughly 22 to 32 minutes here. We'll check in with the FMC and see what it says here shortly. And ironically, getting a text right now from one of my partners, green light. Alright, guys. Getting flying time for this entire flight. 2 hours and 57 minutes. And we are well into that. Let us come check that out. And I guess I could put myself back on camera now. So, if we are to calculate our top of descent, we'll just use this here and went up a minute or so. 387 or 86 nautical miles now to go. Look at that. We still got an estimated 13,800 kilograms of fuel that will be on board on our landing, which will make the aircraft light enough where we shouldn't have a heavy landing or hard landing due to being overweight on the aircraft there. So 21:51, and if we look at current Zulu time in the sim, it's 21:10. So literally we've got about 40 minutes until we start our top of descent and get ourselves down, situated, and into the Minneapolis area. Looks like we're getting a little bit more cloud coverage coming through right now. Alright guys, so we'll see what happens here, but I'm just texting Green Light Auto Brokers, who's also someone who is a moderator on my channel and many of us streamers' channels, and he did his real flight today to keep his instrument rating, as he's a real-life pilot who's instrument rated. Sorry, I'm just responding to him. Anyway, so we'll see if that comes to fruition once we land. We'll see how that works out. So in the meantime, we're just cruising right along. Come back out to our trusty view here. Okay. All right. Such a beautiful view there. So I'm still going to be here. I'm just going to turn myself off the camera until it's really absolutely necessary for me to be back on cam, guys. But I am definitely still here with you. I want you guys to be able to enjoy the view. Again, guys, thanks for riding along with us. I just took myself off for the camera view, but I want you guys to be able to enjoy this scenic view as we have our top of descent now between 35 and 40 minutes into the Minneapolis-St. Paul area on this Delta Airlines Flight 318 with full service from San Francisco International to Minneapolis, St. Paul in Minnesota, where I used to live. So hopefully on our approach, I can point out some landmarks if I'm ahead of the aircraft. If I'm battling to stay ahead of the aircraft, I might not be pointing those out so much, but hopefully that doesn't happen. Yeah, and the X-Pilot is very sensitive to low frames, but it looks like we're getting pretty decent frames right now, so that's why you're seeing that message come up there. Like the weather's going to update, or has been updated. So it looks like, I was just checking the weather report, and it looks like those winds are at 4 knots now, and 220. Let me look and see what runway 22 looks like. So that would change us, because definitely with this thing, you do not want to land on a runway that's going to give you more of a crosswind than you need, or than you want, I should say. As we get closer, yeah, runway 22 doesn't look bad at all. Let me look and see what that approach would look like. We switched it. So, the winds have shifted. Let's see if it gives us the updated weather here as well. Alright, so this is outdated. This is not it. But let's go ahead and take a look. So this is runway 22. It's not as wide as the other runways, but yeah, I don't know if we'll be taking that at all. Let's see. Let's see what we have for runway 22. So runway 22 is a localizer approach. Okay, so hopefully, let me see what our other options are. parking gate. You make sure there's no more notes about any of these other runways here that we can or can't take, guys. Let's look at any NOTAMs. Okay, let's read what this 22 says. For dual use. So this is just some information. If runway 4 and 22 is used as the taxiways, this is the rules here. And if it's used for a landing runway, this is the rules here. So I think we should stick to 12 right and try the crosswind. If we come in and it's too bad, then we'll go back up and consider runway 22. And, you know, between now and the time we get there, the winds could definitely change once again. So we'll just keep that in mind. Do a time check here. 2021, so maybe we're potentially about 30 minutes out. Time on the clock is 21:21, and yeah, so roughly 30 minutes until our top of descent, guys. Check this side out for once. Good thing too is that we can keep 12 right because the winds are only at 4 knots, so the 4 knots is really not an issue. Man, I tell you what, I love flying this plane so far, but I don't love how sensitive it makes everything else because it's heavier on the frames. So yeah, definitely going to be looking forward to getting a stronger rig here for my computer. But we got to work with what we have for right now. So I've been holding off on the rig, really, for lack of better words, due to just not getting around to it. That's the only reason. But in the next couple weeks, it needs to be built. I'm going to have my brother build it for me. We've had some discussions at length about what I want to see. Definitely want to get that graphics card, that 3080 with the i9 processor. Probably stick with an Asus motherboard, Corsair cooling, liquid cooling, of course. Make sure we have a great power source. And man, I'm talking, I want between 5 to 10 terabytes of storage on there. I want a robust SSD drive. And plenty of USB ports. So yeah, he built his computer that he uses now, and that thing is a beast. So I definitely know he's got the skill set to do it. He's a retired Navy guy. He was in the Navy for 25 years, my big bro. And he was an avionics tech, so he worked on obviously different avionics in the F-18, and the F-18 Super Hornet, and it's very handy with electrical stuff. So yeah, that's gonna come in handy here. It's kind of the funny thing is that my big brother, who's almost 4 years older than me, when he went in the Navy, he went in the avionics route, so electrician basically. When I went in the military, I went in the Army as a mechanic, so you know, mechanical things, which there's an electrical aspect to being a mechanic obviously, but as far as really how to apply electricity, AC, DC, and all that stuff, the electricians and what he did is a little bit more in tune to be a subject matter expert when it comes to, you know, handling different things that require electricity versus the mechanic. He's got enough knowledge to get stuff done, power sources, grounds, and all that good stuff. So, comes in handy. I used to work on my brother's cars, change his oil when I was a mechanic, and I guess now he'll be not changing my oil, but changing my computer out for me. So again, guys, just want to say thanks for flying with us today, and we should be starting our descent now in less than 30 minutes into the Minneapolis-St. Paul area. That air is definitely smoothed out. If you look prior, you would have noticed that the plane was getting a little choppy air. She's pretty stable now, guys. Once we get closer, I'll definitely put myself back on cam and we'll get to work, guys. I'm just trying to have you guys enjoy this view right now. Greenlight Auto Brokers, my man, what is good, bro? How you like the A340? The Greenlight, this is the one, guys, I was talking about prior that he was actually doing his in real life flight today. So welcome him to the chat. As you can see, he's also one of my moderators and has flown with me on several times in different streams and supports several of his content creators. So big up to Greenlight Auto Brokers. And so far, Greenlight, I love the sim here. You know, when you download it, it's got a, like most Toliss aircraft, or the Airbuses anyway, it's got a standard def and a high def. I'm flying the high def one now, but I tell you what, it is not easy on the frames by any means. Other than that, man, it's a great sim. You know, this is the updated version. I downloaded this, and then maybe a day or two later for me downloading it, I downloaded, I think, October 28th, October 30th, they came up with an update. So I re-downloaded this again, and this is the updated version of the Toliss A340-600. So far so good. Again, for those that you don't know, I was streaming earlier today twice, and this flight originally was originating out of Los Angeles International Airport, but my scenery there, the Toliss and the weather didn't agree. It crashed the stream twice. So, and I know it was just the frames due to the heavy requirements that the mod has, not to mention the weather and the scenery. So we flew out of San Francisco, which that is not any payware or updated scenery. It's just a regular X-plane gateway scenery, and we were getting a little problems out of there, but that's again because Toliss is pretty heavy on the frame. So loving it so far, guys. Loving it so far. So once we get to Minneapolis, I may do an aircraft switch out, and we'll figure out where potentially Greenlight and I are going to fly to for the next leg, if we do a next leg, of course. Greenlight, any ideas of what leg you want to run if we do fly out of Minneapolis to somewhere? Let me know, big dog. You can either text me or just throw it in the chat. Okay, got you, Greenlight. He's doing a quick flight, 1 hour to Denver, then we can go wherever, he says. Cool. You know how we roll. We keep it simple over here. Sounds good to me, Greenlight. Hope you have a great 1 hour flight to Denver, and hopefully we have a good touchdown. So we'll see how this all works out. Appreciate your green light. He says that music is banging. Hey, you know we try to keep a little bit of flavor up here on the channel. You know, we do what we do. Appreciate you for saying that green light. Spilled my cup of joe in the office. All right. Let me check top of descent. Then I'm gonna have to go get something to clean this coffee up. 196 UTC 2152. So that puts us roughly at 20 minutes. So I got a few minutes to clean this coffee up. Alright guys, so I'm still here in the AO. I dropped my coffee, so now I gotta clean it up. So continue to enjoy this view, and top of descent is now in about 20 minutes, guys. 20 minutes of top of descent. I will be right back with you. Okay guys, I'm back after cleaning up a nice little robust coffee spill in the office, and let's reconnect back to VATSIM, and let's get ourselves back on camera as we are going to be reeling it in here pretty soon. Alright guys, we're reeling it in. We got about 12 minutes or so until our top of descent into the Minneapolis-St. Paul area with our calculated landing onto runway 12 right. Okay, somebody says good day, and unfortunately I cannot read Russian, but welcome to the stream 3X. I do not know how to translate that name at all, but welcome to the stream anyway, my friend. Let's come up front and kind of take a look at what we have here. Let's get our tray table pushed back in. Oops, that's not what we want. Let me see. Okay, that's to that. He put, yes, he's Russian. Hello, my friend. And I'm sorry, I don't know how to pronounce your name, but welcome to the stream. Thanks for watching, and really appreciate you checking us out. Let's get this tray table pushed in. There we go. Tray table is now officially being pushed in, and we can come here now and take a look at what we got going on here, guys. So if you guys remember, our transition onto the arrival was UFTA, so that will begin the arrival, but you can see we're going to start our descent prior to that. You know, obviously in probably about 100 miles now, if I'm being truthful. 117 miles it is, as you can see right here. Alright, so he says, yes, this is Russians, and hello. Hello to you, my friend from Russia. And yeah, let me see if I can find hello in Russian. Good thing for Google Translate. And let me see Russian here. Let me try to use all my resources. Wow, and ironically, I don't even see Russian on. So it must be because Russians don't speak Russian, they must speak Slavic. Oh, I see it right here. Russian, there we go. Okay. So they do have it. Alright. So I'm saying hello, my friend, in Russian. There we go. And we are flying to Minneapolis, St. Paul from San Francisco, my friend. Thanks for asking. All right. So Zaharchik Gladika. Gladika is the translation that it gave me for your name, so I still don't know if I'm saying that right, but I gave it a go anyway, and he responded. Let's see what he says here, guys. This day and age, there's really no excuse for a language barrier. And he says greetings. All right, greetings. He says it. It's Privet Stuvuyu. Privet Stuvuyu. I never thought I'd be speaking Russian or trying to. Privet Stubruvu is how I say it. Zaki D says he's back. Welcome back, Zaki D. You're just going to be in time for our descent into the Minneapolis-St. Paul area. All right. Let's get a jam change, guys. We are going to be descending here into the Minneapolis-St. Paul area here in a minute. The current MEDAR, or the most recent MEDAR for the field, winds are still out of basically the southwest at 220 degrees at 4 knots. Visibility is clear. 10 miles of visibility. The Celsius temperature is 13 degrees Celsius with an altimeter of 296. So, before we start our top of descent, that's not what I meant to do. Let us come in here and start getting into some information. So the QNH is 29906. We'll double check this one more time. We said it is 13 degrees Celsius there. Winds are out of 220 degrees and it's at 4 knots. We'll go ahead and do a full flaps landing. There's our approach speed, and let's look for our decision height. Okay, ILS decision height is 1042. So there's our decision height via the chart. Our friend from Russia, or he says he's Russian, doesn't necessarily mean he lives in Russia, says that he is thinking about buying the A340-2. You know what? If you like Toliss aircraft, my friend, this is no different than the rest of them, and I think it's definitely worth the money. I know it's a little steep, but they've done a lot of things to this aircraft, so if you can afford it, I say it's worth it. You know, if you're really into this thing, it's definitely worth the buy. In my opinion, just be aware that it's very heavy on the frames, much so more than the other Toliss 319 and 321. Just kind of let you know that, in my opinion, but it is pretty great simulation. Let me show you guys something for those that you haven't seen this. I'm going to take you somewhere in the aircraft, and let me see if I can find the right button here first. Let's see here. Okay, I think it's this button. Okay, that one goes to that side. This one goes to this side. That one goes to that side. That one goes to that side. Okay, so it's this right here that we're going to use. So I'm going to show you guys something cool. I'm going to show you guys this. If you guys didn't know this, we got to be careful we don't miss top of descent. This thing's got a pretty cool, I've never been on an A340 in real life. I've been on many aircrafts, but not an A340 in real life. So what's cool is, even in this simulation, there's a little bathroom here. Look at this, guys. This is pretty cool. It's a bathroom area down here if you guys are wondering what I'm doing. Look at that. We're going down the steps and it's a bathroom area down here. I think that's pretty cool, guys. It's well lit, very well modeled, and like I said, I think it's definitely worth it, man. Look at this. There's a restroom down here, 1, 2, 3. Now this is what you want to see on a flight, is you want to see some extra space in a plane, and here you go. It's got this restroom model down here in this area. And if you turn back around, you can see the steps. There's where you would come up from the steps. So I definitely think it's worth, look at this, buying this aircraft. Yeah, A340 is a good plane, my brother. It is. Okay, enough of those reindeer games. Let's reconnect the VATSIM. All right. It says you're disconnected VATSIM because you have low frame rates. That's correct, Zaki D. And that's the thing. Remember, I told you guys, I'm running an i7 10th generation NVIDIA GTX 1080 Corsair cooling. So pretty robust system, not the most robust out there now, obviously, because computers are gotten better, which my next upgrade, like I said before, is i9, with hopefully I get that 3080. But yeah, so it's very heavy on the frames, guys. This is the most frame hungry aircraft that I have yet. I usually don't get, the only time I get that message from X-Pilot or VATSIM is when I'm flying and it's super heavy weather and another aircraft per se, not the Zebo or stuff like that. Those are pretty easy. But if, let's say I'm flying, you know, Flight Factor 777 or the SSG 747, then you could get them in weather, but normally I don't get them. So yeah, I just wanted to show you guys that again. I showcased it earlier on the flight, but being that this has been a pretty long flight and all you weren't checked in at the time, I figured I'd show it again. Alright, so we will be descending via the Torgy 3. We'll do our rusty dusty call out. Let's make sure our radios are on Unicom still, and they are. Alright, folks, we are reeling it in. Keep you guys kind of out of this view for now. Just want to make sure we'll be able to see that top of descent marker, guys, and we'll be headed on in the way to Minneapolis, St. Paul. All right, just checking something on my other computer there, guys. Alright, sorry, I was just checking some stuff out here. Alright guys, you guys know what I like to do. I like to bring the map, reduce it so that we can get that top of descent right where we want it. So we'll put it in this range. And once we get top of descent, music comes off. I'll put the flight controls on because I will forget, and we will get ourselves down into the Minneapolis St. Paul area. Right now, again, guys, we will give the cabin crew and the passengers a call out here in a second once we start our top of descent, and work our way into Minneapolis St. Paul on this much troubled stream. And I do say troubled because of the issues that I had. Again, this is the third time that I had to start the stream today, which so far so good. The first time, stream crashed on initialization of the aircraft. Second stream, the sim crashed as we were taxiing to the runway, and this was when we were leaving out of Los Angeles International Airport, which I have pay-wear scenery there. So the pay-wear scenery there with this pay-wear scenery plus the weather, boom. Our friend, who I'm just gonna call you, so my friend who's Russian, Give me an English name that I can call you, because I don't want to disrespect you at all. Give me an English name that I can call you that will be what I call you, because I don't want to just respond to you as our Russian friend. But unfortunately, until now, that's what I got. So our Russian amigo that's in the chat says, will there be a video from a 738? So 737-800? Absolutely. I do fly the Zebo from time to time. And yeah, check my channel out and see what you want to see. And I fly pretty much any aircraft that's out there available for X-Plane that is decent. Okay, guys, we're passing that top of descent now. So now what we want to do is push this in so that we can start our top of descent appropriately. Now you can see the plane is going to pitch down to catch the magenta indicator. So guys, top of descent has started. So that means I owe you guys a few things here. That means music off. And I'm going to put out of controls on for your viewing. Alright guys, now we do have our Airbus controls here on, and we are working our way into the Minneapolis airport. Minneapolis St. Paul traffic. Delta 318 is an Airbus 340-600 who is out of flight level 390, currently at flight level 374, direct FDA, descending on the Torgy 3, expecting full stop runway 12 right for Minneapolis St. Paul traffic. Alright guys, we made our call out. So if there's anybody in the area, they will let us know, absolutely. And now that we have started our top of descent, let's go ahead and get the alright, and let's go ahead and make an announcement to the passengers. Let me, of course, get the weather information pulled up, and we will make a wonderful announcement to our passengers here, of course. Alright guys, so let's go ahead and make our announcement to the passengers. Alright everyone, once again it's your captain, Dre Sanchez from the flight deck. Once again thanking you for flying along with us here on this Delta Airlines Flight 318 with full service from San Francisco to Minneapolis. As you can tell, we have started our descent into the Minneapolis-St. Paul area. Right now the winds are out of the west at 4 knots. The temperature in Fahrenheit is 39 degrees Fahrenheit. Barometric pressure is a dew point of 4 degrees. So things are looking calm. It is clear. We do have over 10 miles of visibility in the Minneapolis-St. Paul area. We will be arriving to gate Foxtrot 12, so once we land, the taxi should be relatively short. But if you need to use the restroom, I would recommend you doing so now on this ascent, so you can be back in your seat with the your seat belt securely fastened. Please adhere to our staff that will be coming through the aisles to collect all of your trash. So once again, from the entire Delta Airlines family, we want to say thank you for flying, and we hope to see you on the next flight. Talk to you soon. Alright there guys, we made our little announcements. He's been asking me now, are you flying on the IVAO network? No sir, we are actually flying on the VATSIM network, and I'll give you a snapshot of that right now. Okay my friends, so we're flying on the VATSIM network. So here's our aircraft here, Delta Airlines 318. Let's get a little bit of a snapshot here. We can see this person, where are they headed to? This person, we don't know where they're headed to, but it looks like there's no other traffic. There's 3 arrivals and no departures right now, but we'll still do our call outs. So this is us on the VATSIM network. And yeah, we're working our way in, my friends. So there we go, guys. So I'm glad that the weather's clear, the winds are calm, and hopefully that'll make for a spectacular touchdown for us, or at least something that doesn't break the aircraft and give the passengers back problems, if you will. Altimeter is still 2996. So let's start preparing the aircraft. Again, we said that, let me put my seat forward again. Let me look left and make sure the seat, okay, so one thing I'm going to do right now is, you got to save it, because I keep changing it, but I forgot to save it. So let's get our X camera on. and save all cameras. There we go. Alright, as promised guys, we're going to go ahead and set this up for auto brake 3. And in the meantime, let's go ahead and arm our auto brake is armed. And let's confirm we are going to land pretty much full flaps. So we'll do a full flaps landing on this one. So we are configured for full flaps with an approach speed of 151. So that will be our approach speed. We have all of our stuff already programmed in here, of course. This MDA, or minimum, I guess, descent altitude, is really for non-precision approaches. So we put our decision height of 1042 in there. And we don't have any further messages. What we are going to do, though, the aircraft looks like it's struggling. Okay, now it's bleeding speed, I was going to say, because if not, I would have to put out some of our brakes, which, of course, it looks like we still may need to do. No, it's doing what it needs to do. And we're a little bit below the glide path right now anyway, so that's good. So aircraft will be able to maintain a pitch that's conducive to us flying at a decent speed. Once we get to 18,000 feet, we will put our altimeter of 299.6 in and continue to prepare the aircraft for an arrival into the Minneapolis-St. Paul area. Alright, so as we descend, and we're meeting our one of our altitude restrictions here, so the plane will level out until we pass Eric, and then we'll get back onto our next descent profile there. So what we have here is out in the distance in this location. Let's see if it's over here actually. We're going to be passing a town called Redwood Falls. And we pretty much are passing into Minneapolis from Iowa. Okay, so if you must know, okay, we're making our little turn now. See us making that little turn there. So we are actually now over the state of Minnesota, and as we get a little closer, we'll be letting you know where things are at. But again, yes, we're pretty much about to pass Redwood Falls off in the distance, of course. It's a smaller town, so you're not going to see it. It's a smaller municipality, kind of at the southern portion of the state where it meets Iowa. And if you look at our heading right now, we're pretty much due east. So if you look out of the first officer side, and mind you, I used to live and work in Minnesota as a supervisor for the state, for the Department of Veterans Affairs. So off in the distance, way off in the distance, which you can't see, is a town, southern town called Mankato. Which is for one of the southern towns, is a bigger municipality, if you will, for the state, but not as big as St. Paul, Minneapolis, obviously. I think the big four would be St. Cloud, Minnesota, Minneapolis, St. Paul, and Minnesota, which is 2 cities, St. Paul and Minneapolis. So that's 3 so far. And then Rochester, where the Mayo Clinic is at, would probably be the big 3 cities, or big 4. I take that back, and Duluth, Minnesota, which is up north on Lake Superior. So, alright, flight level 210 and descending on down, guys. You can see the aircraft is slowing down. We did check the speeds earlier, so we should be fine for the aircraft to fly the speeds if I feel uncomfortable at any time. Well, the initial approach fix is I'll show you what the initial approach fix is, and then we'll decide what we want to do with the speed. So initial approach fix is Krug, but right here, you know, on the initial approach fix in this aircraft, we should really be about 180. So the way that we can change that is you come in here and there's a speed restriction. Let's put 180 in there. And it's still left it at 216, so. So we'll definitely take over. Good rule of thumb at your initial approach fix should be, let's see, Krug. Let's try it again. Let's click on this, man. 187,000. 180. So those are in there. I'm not quite sure why it disappeared, that 7,000. Oh, it didn't. It just does a ditto sign. So because these are all 7,000, it figured I'm not going to put 7,000 there. Go figure, a computer's overworked, so it still puts the ditto sign in there, which I think that's kind of funny. Anyway, we'll keep it out on the flight plan mode. We are now out of our flight levels, so we can get 299 in there. And of course, we need to do the same thing on the first officer side. All right, 299 is in both sides. Of course, at 10,000 feet, we will go ahead and get those altimeters all set up. Not altimeters, but our landing lights on, of course. Let's get a little higher of a view here, just for you guys to be scenic, but also see what's going on. There we are, guys. And let's be sure to make our call out again. Minneapolis St. Paul traffic. Delta 318 is an Airbus 340-600, currently at 15,400, descending via the Torgy 3 direct Torgy in 5.6 nautical miles, expecting full stop runway 12 right for Minneapolis St. Paul traffic. All right, guys, so call out is official. And as you can see, the aircraft is doing a wonderful job of keeping our descent profile as close to possible as a magenta indicator here. Airspeed is bleeding. And what it does is, some of the times it pitches up. Now you can see we're picking up speed, so it's probably going to pitch back up. So let's help it out a little bit. And of course, we'll be able to see those speed brakes that I just put out. Let's go check the wing out. You can see them right there on the wing there. I increased them there a little bit. Alright, speed brakes are rearmed. The ground spoilers, I should say. And wow, look at that wind coming into play here. You guys see the aircraft is hitting a little bit of turbulent wind right there, so let's make sure that fasten seatbelt sign is all the way on. And again, from the flight deck, this is your captain, Captain Dre Sanchez. As you notice, we are hitting a little bit of turbulent air, so if you're not using the restroom or reconfiguring your items for landing, please sit down with your seatbelt securely fastened. We should be out of this choppy air soon. Thanks a lot. Alright, guys, so we let the passengers know that it is getting kind of crazy, man. Yeah, she's kind of bouncing all over the place, so hopefully the air smooths out. Look at that. She is definitely struggling. Oof. She is definitely bouncing around here, guys. Hopefully it's nothing like this on our approach, or we will probably have to go to our alternate. Alright, we are at about that 10,000 mark. Landing lights, runway turnoffs. They're all on. Alright, I'm just hoping this air smooths itself out. Hopefully by 8,000 we'll be good to go. So there's our initial approach fix of Krug. Once we get a little closer to Spooky, we're actually going to do manual on the speed, and we're going to bring it to 180 so we can be nice and slow. I really hope and pray that we're not rocking around like this once we get there, because that is going to make for an absolutely almost impossible landing in this thing, and we'll definitely have to aviate, get onto our alternate, because there's no way I'm landing this thing in this type of wind. Hopefully this little change in our direction and altitude makes a difference here. Captain Geo, who is another content creator, guys, says he is waiting for a butter. You should definitely have an additional LOL after your LOL, Captain Geo, because butter is probably not going to happen here. I don't even know if a decent landing is going to happen. You see these winds? So hopefully lower is better. Let's see, making sure. So it still says VFR, clear, calm, altimeter still 299.6. So hopefully, guys, this winds really give us a break. Because you can see we are just being thrown around pretty good. And as you can see, here is our arrival, and this is where we're at. So at Spooky, 230 knots on a heading, of course, of 042, which the last point is Krug, which is also our initial approach fix.
Taking off runway 30 right. Correction, 30 right.
So he's taking off to the north, which is fine. The winds are calm. But there's somebody there, so we better do a call out. Minneapolis, St. Paul traffic. Delta 318 is an Airbus A340-600. Currently direct to Spooky in 5 nautical miles. Descending via the Torgy 3, expecting full stop runway 12 right for Minneapolis, St. Paul traffic. Alright. So we're almost at that 7,000, but I definitely want to go ahead and bring that speed back now.
Once again, Northwest Destiny 1, taking off runway 30 right, rolling Minneapolis.
Have a good takeoff, sir. Alright, so he is taking off. We're at 7,000. Speed check flaps 1, of course. And speed check flaps 2. So she is not giving me much confidence now with this win. This is the worst case scenario coming in, man. The whole flight was pretty smooth. We had a little chop, but man, she is just bouncing everywhere.
Northwest, Virginia 1 clear, runway 30 right, Minneapolis.
Once we get to FX direct, we'll go ahead and arm that localizer. Let me make sure my active sky here isn't doing anything crazy, because real live weather, flight plan. So as we get to about 6,000, man, I really hope this thing balances itself out. I'm really not looking forward to this. We got Zesty at 4,000, so let's get that in there. We can see we got our descent to Zesty right there. We'll be at 4,000. And again, I'm really hoping these winds treat us kindly. Alright guys, so as promised, as we come into the Minneapolis-St. Paul area, I'm going to try to point out some landmarks. You can see downtown Minneapolis there. This lake over here is called Lake Calhoun. It's either Lake Harriet and this is Lake Calhoun, or this is Lake Harriet and this is Lake Calhoun, which is pretty much southwest of the city, not by much. It's basically in a part of town called Uptown. And we're not landing full flaps in this wind, guys. There's no way. So let's change our configuration to flaps 3. And so that gives us a V approach of 153. There's no way I'm going to land this aircraft with that, if we even get to land it. Because, man, she is just bouncing around everywhere. But, like I said, hopefully once we get lower, and make our turn, this will be different. Go ahead and arm that localizer now, guys. Now we can arm that approach mode, so we have the glide slope captured. And man, she's just... Woof! I am not looking forward to this one, guys. Let me check you guys out in the chat one more time, and then we got to say a prayer, man. Those winds are wild. Yes, they are, Zachy D. I don't know who we made mad, but they are definitely wild. Minneapolis, St. Paul. Delta 318 Airbus 340-600 is on final approach for runway 12 right, approaching Kins on a short final for Minneapolis, St. Paul traffic. Alright, guys. Gears coming down. Speed is about to come back. And let's go ahead and go flaps 3. And let's check on the cabin. And yeah, this is some crazy winds. We'll give her a go, but if not, we're gonna do toga power, and we're gonna take. We're obviously gonna be flying it by hand. All right, landing gears down. 3 green guys. Everything is good for landing. Cabin is ready. And yeah, I'm gonna ride it a little lower. We're about 1,400 feet above the ground. Hopefully she smooths out, guys. It looks a little bit calmer right now. That was just me moving around. Autopilot is a disengage my aircraft.
100 above. Minimum. 1,000.
Landing. Continue.
$500.
500 beat above, cross check.
400.
400, cross check.
300.
Cross check.
200.
Cross check.
100. 50, 40, 30, 20, retard, 10, 5.
All right, guys. We are down. Reversers are on. And 80 knots. Reverse free. Alright guys, welcome it in to Minneapolis, St. Paul. I am so glad those winds gave us a break. Manual braking. Flaps are coming up. And we look to be on holding short of Alpha. Minneapolis St. Paul traffic, Delta 318 is clear of runway 12 right. We'll be taxiing to the ramp via Alpha. Alright, I'll check you guys out in the chat here in a second. But now you guys know we are on our way to gate F12. Spoilers are disarmed. And guys, welcome it in. I don't know why my view is so tall here, guys. Welcome it in to Minneapolis, St. Paul. Thank goodness those winds gave us a total break, because if they didn't, we would have been done for, guys. And yeah, so we made it in. So thank goodness APU is on. Let's make sure we're all cleaned up here. Flaps are up and clean. And we did get those strobes all the way off, landings off, and taxi light is on. So let's take a look here at our chart. All right, we got a little bit longer to go here. Pick up that taxi speed. Captain Geo says, nice landing. Yes, thank you, Captain Geo. Appreciate it. Zachy D says, nice for the circumstances. Thank you, Zachy D. Yeah, I mean, not a bad landing, guys. Not at all, but everything can always be better. And this is, if I haven't told you guys, this is my first recorded landing in this Airbus A340 on the channel. Obviously, there's been some practice flights. Let's see, this last gate should be ours, the longer one hanging off. Let's see, let's slow it up here. Start making our turn. Get that taxi light off. So let's see here. Let me see what gate that is over there. Because we need F12, and that looks like it's it right here. Okay, that is it right there. So that's the gate we planned on. It looks like the next gate over would have been more accommodating. And really, this flight in real life is flown by a 757-200, so this aircraft might not be truly designed to fit at this gate, but we're gonna make it happen today. See if my marshal air is awake. He looks to be somewhat of in a sleepy state. I haven't seen his hands come up yet. There he goes. All right. Parking brake is set. And we can go for engine shutdown. Guys, welcome it into Minneapolis, St. Paul. And we have officially made it. Oh man, I hate where this seat is, how the seat comes up. I wish they would make something for track IR so it doesn't do that. So welcome it in, guys. Thanks for hanging out. Let's get off the VATSIM network now that we want to, even though we were disconnected several times. And let's get right into the replay. All right, guys. Don't know how we did it, but we did it. We made it into the Minneapolis, St. Paul area. And you can see we are at the gate now. The gate has deployed itself. And the only thing we need to do is turn off our red beacon. But the marshaller got us in there pretty straight. Our landing gear is not perfectly dead on, but that's okay. All things considered, let's go in here and get the red beacon off, and we can get right into the replay, folks. And before we get fully into that replay, let me get myself out of there because we don't need any of that madness. All right, let's toggle replay mode and hopefully we don't get a crash here. We're asking it to do so. Let's just start it from here and rewind it.
Grid 20, 50, 100, 200, 300, 500.
All right, there we go. We won't get too gangster with it. And let's give ourselves a little flyby at first. Again, those frames are still hurting. Man, very stuttery. Very stuttery, but this is also additional scenery, but it is not payware. This is freeware scenery that I downloaded. So we didn't land exactly center line, I know that much. I was more just hoping we just landed on the runway with a decent landing rate, guys. Still kind of in the touchdown zone. Floated it a little bit. And it's pretty much center line, guys, if you see that. All right, let's bring that back. Man, she was looking nice, wasn't she? Like I said, there was a little float there. And there's where that touchdown was, and nose was coming down. All right. Let us replay that once again. So, I'm pretty happy we made it regardless, even if the stream were to crash right now, which we wouldn't hope. But if it did, at least we made it, guys. Finally, after such a troubled and tumultuous stream, man. It was totally crazy, bro. Just past the blocks with a little float. Trying to get center line. There's that touchdown. Look, that rear wheel and the front landing gear pretty much hit center line. All right. It's like my mouse disappeared. There we go. Magic, man, how we do this. Let's actually go from this other side here. All right, so there's another lake Let's see if we, okay, so there's the two lakes. The larger of the two lakes should be Lake Calhoun in uptown Minneapolis. The other lake should be Lake Harriet. Man, this thing is just so heavy on the frames, period. Which you guys have seen in my other videos, they haven't been that heavy on the frames. So we're passing right over uptown. There's downtown, you can see off the left wing. That's downtown Minneapolis. This is all Minneapolis right here. Not the best part of town that we're passing over. Richfield area. We're going to come right in over I-35W. So I believe this highway is 394. We're passing over there. That's either 394 or the actual 35W right there, which I think that was 35W. Very stuttery. You can also see the stadium between the buildings. Look between the buildings on the left, the stadium, and then there's two little buildings on the right. That's where the Minnesota Vikings play. Okay, there is Highway 35, and now we're going to be crossing over. That's Highway 62 you see kind of parallel to us. And that's another lake, and there was also Highway 77. I actually used to work close to the airport, and it would be off the left wing. You also have the reserve base. And we'll probably do one more replay from the right wing since we saw it from the left wing. We'll just let her get off the runway and watch those slats come up. Again, everybody, appreciate you riding along with us for this 2 hour and 57-minute flight, which obviously there's more time involved in that. We've been streaming for 3 hours and 26 minutes. Yeah, very stuttery on the frames, guys. All right, let's get ourselves back up to the front, and we'll get those replay controls on, and we'll go ahead and walk it back one more time. While we're backing it up, I just want to look you in the face, say thank you for riding along. God bless you. Appreciate everyone in the chat. Appreciate everybody that will watch it afterward. I look forward to doing more flights. Hopefully it won't be so heavy on the frames on the next one, but we did get through it. This whole flight was an example of why you never give up. We started out, the sim crashed twice. I had to literally do a fresh computer restart, fresh sim load twice from LA. We changed it from San Francisco departure. We still got the flight done. And that'll just show, keep it up, be tenacious, and don't give up. Treat each other kindly, and we'll see you guys here on the next stream. And we'll ride it out with a right wing view all the way up to the gate. Until then, until the next time, God bless, take care.